Hello and welcome to Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team and eXp Realty, and on today's episode, we are going down south. Well, not that far south. We're going to Greenwood, Indiana. I'm going to tell you all the good, all the bad, and everything in between about living in this big suburb of Indianapolis. Before we get to that, if you like Indianapolis, if you like this channel, leave a like on this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around Indianapolis, the Circle City that we love and call home. Now let's go check out Greenwood. On this channel, we've taken a look a lot at the northern suburbs, the western suburbs, and Indianapolis, the city itself, but we haven't spent a ton of time in the south. But that changes today because Greenwood is the major suburb just south of Indianapolis. So you go south through, Perry Township and boom, you're in Greenwood. And there are a lot of ways to get there, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But what you're going to see with Greenwood is there's a lot of things in its favor, but there are a few cons too. I've spent a lot of time in Greenwood. I have many friends in Greenwood. I used to live right next to it, and our office actually used to be in southern Greenwood, just inside Center Grove. So I know what I'm talking about down here. Pro number one. So one of the best reasons to live in Greenwood is there's something for everyone there. Greenwood has so much opportunity across the board. You have everything from huge luxury estates in the Center Grove area to all sorts of apartments in Greenwood and everything in between. There's single family homes. There's standalone lots with older homes on them. There's new build communities with opportunities still within Greenwood in different areas across Greenwood as well. So really, no matter what you're looking for from a real estate perspective, Greenwood has it. And that is a huge feather in the cap of Greenwood. And thus the price point actually can vary according to what kind of lodging you're looking for, as well as the area within Greenwood. Now, you've heard me talk a lot about other areas, and that is not true everywhere. There's a lot of consistency within markets like Fishers or Carmel on what the price is going to be in that area. Greenwood is more like Noblesville, where there are a lot of different types of options. And that's a really great thing when you're looking to get embedded into a community. Maybe you're looking for your first home and you're looking for more of a starter home type of feel, or you're looking in a community, an established community, and then a few years later, you love living in Greenwood, but you're ready to move up to another level of house and you want to build a new house. Well, that's available to you in Greenwood. You don't have to hop across school systems. You don't have to hop across different cities. Greenwood's got something for everyone. And that doesn't just apply to the housing, that applies to the commercial space. Greenwood is very, very developed across the board. You have pretty much any business or thing you can think to do located in Greenwood. There are multiple major highways running through Greenwood. We'll actually touch on that in a bit. And within those highways, you have anything you could ever want from a city. Like I said, the population is near 70,000 people. And so there's just a ton of commercial opportunity. There's fulfillment centers. There's every type of business you could ever want. Restaurants, professional services, really anything, manufacturing, everything's there. And it's awesome because there are opportunities across the board, whether you're looking to live in different places or you're looking to work in different places. So all of this opportunity is great, but that actually leads me to my first con. Con number one. Con number one is the reverse side of that coin, and that is the lack of consistency. Because what you see in Greenwood is a hodgepodge of different types of areas, different feels. You have commercial areas, you have big box distribution center areas, you have rural areas, you have city areas, you have luxury areas, you have more affordable areas. There's everything in Greenwood. And that's really good from an opportunity standpoint. But if you're looking for a community with just more consistency across the board, like one feel, that's not Greenwood. Greenwood is very different than that. Like I said, it's kind of like Noblesville on the north side, where Noblesville has different areas. It has agrarian areas, it has forested areas, it has a historic downtown, but it also has new builds. Greenwood's like that. Greenwood has historic sections. It has heavily commercial sections. It has agrarian sections in, with big estates in Center Grove. It is all over the place. So if you're looking for one consistent feel, that's not Greenwood. If you're looking at Fishers is pretty consistent across the board. Even though it's a city of over 100,000, it's a very consistent feel whether you drive east, south, north, west across the city. Carmel, very similar. Zionsville, I would say very similar as well. So you have some suburbs where that consistency goes across the board, and then you have others where you have a variety of options. So you can look at this as both a pro and a con. I definitely think that the pros outweigh the cons in this point. But if you're looking for a place to live where no matter where you move, it's going to be a similar feel, I would not say that's Greenwood. So that's why I want to include it as con number 1.
Pro number 2.
Pro number 2 follows in the same vein, but it's something that's really cool about Greenwood, and it's the economic opportunity. Like I talked about earlier, there are options for any industry you can think of in Greenwood. There's manufacturing, there's tons of distribution centers. We get packages like Amazon packages and other packages really quick in Indy. It's because we have distribution centers pretty much on every side of the city, and the South has really great transportation. I live more in the North now, but when I lived in the South, I got everything really fast. It was cool. But that being said, no matter what you're looking to do, if you're a lawyer, if you're a teacher, if you're a firefighter, if you're, a plumber, whatever, there's so much opportunity in Greenwood. It's amazing. There's tons of commercial space. If you need a storefront, I know storefronts you can buy on the major highways in Greenwood. If you are looking for, just an out-of-home business, there you can set that up. There is no limit to the economic opportunity in Greenwood, and they're constantly expanding. If you look on the major highways in Greenwood, as you continue to go further south, there's newer and newer businesses because the population of Greenwood keeps expanding. The demand is there. The housing is there. It's a really special place because unlike some of the other suburbs, Carmel, not a ton of room left to expand out right now. It's kind of boxed in by the other cities. You look at like an Avon, a lot of the population starting to grow in Danville because Avon's starting to run out of space. Not so with Greenwood. Still plenty of space in Greenwood, still expansion happening, and there's lots of economic opportunity. The median household income is over $78,000, and unemployment is actually below the national average. It's at like 2.9% right now. And that's amazing. It's just a great economic zone. So if you're looking to start a business or work with an employer, check out Greenwood. It could be a great place for you to work. But depending on where you work, let's see if Greenwood's going to be the best place in
con number 2.
There's no beating around the bush here. Con number 2 is the remoteness of Greenwood. And it really can depend on the part of Greenwood you're in because the northern parts feel pretty connected to Indianapolis. But as you get further south, it can take a little while to get around. So around Greenwood, you have a lot of agrarian spaces. You have a lot of farmland. You go out east, you've got Whiteland, you've got Franklin, you've got different areas where you're going to see a lot of farmland. Franklin Township as well, which is part of Indianapolis. In Greenwood, like I mentioned, you have a ton of commercial space. On the other side, on the sort of southwest, still part of Greenwood, is Center Grove, and Center Grove has a lot of farms, a lot of trees. It's a lot more rural in nature. And then to the south, you have, Bargersville, which is also very rural in nature. So you're kind of surrounded by not as much development as you would see on the north side of Indy. So with that, your options to get around and get out of Greenwood, it takes a little bit longer. So if you're commuting downtown and you're thinking about Greenwood, maybe your job is downtown, you're working, and you got to get up there on the interstate, you really need to plan on where you're living in Greenwood. You want to live closer to the interstate in most cases, and there are lots of new build opportunities right off the interstate in Greenwood. There are other pre-existing communities as well, and even standalone parcels. But you really want to map out that commute because it takes a while to get down to Greenwood. I'm going to touch a little bit more on this here in just a little bit, so stay tuned. But just in general, let's work together and let's think through your commute and where you're going on a daily basis, because I don't want you to fall in love with Greenwood and then pick an area that's going to really inconvenience you on a day-to-day basis. Because like I said, there's lots of opportunity across the board and there's no reason to stress yourself out. You can have a good commute and live in Greenwood, but you want to plan right.
Rule number 3.
Speaking of planning right, Greenwood is a great, affordable place to live. So compared to some of the other suburbs, especially on the north side and even on the west side, Greenwood comes in at a more affordable home price. Like I mentioned, it has more differentiation in its housing options. So if you're looking for a starter home or you're looking for a new build, you are more likely to have a more affordable home price in Greenwood than you are in somewhere like Carmel or Westfield or Fishers, even somewhere like Brownsburg on the west side. Greenwood gives you a lot of options and a lot of different price ranges. It's 12% lower than the national average in terms of cost of living. It's actually higher than the average of Indiana. You know, we have a lot of different rural communities, small towns across Indiana. So it is higher than the Indiana average. That's true of everywhere around Indianapolis. Now, however, you look at it nationally, it's a very affordable place to live. I belabor this point again and again on this channel. Indianapolis in general is very, very affordable. And Greenwood gives you an opportunity to get a new house, whether you're getting that first time home buyer type situation or new construction or your upgrade house or your downsize house if you're looking to retire. There's everything in Greenwood, and that's cool because you can do it at a more affordable rate. Now, as I said earlier, let's touch into what could affect you on a daily basis in
Con number 3.
So I talked about the remoteness of Greenwood and how it can feel a bit cut off from the city as a whole. So here's the deal. You have major highways running through Greenwood. You have US 31, you have I-135, you have 65 interstate, you have 69 interstate. All of it makes it kind of easy to get to know where you're going in Greenwood. Here's the thing though. I'm not going to touch on the interstates as much. Those vary with time of day, with kind of traffic, where you're going. The main highways running through Greenwood are radically different than the highways on the north side. Let's talk about the difference. On the north side in Carmel, you also have 31. However, it functions sort of like an interstate up there. You have relatively unimpeded traffic with elevated exits for each like crossroad. So it's very easy to get around. And then you get off on that exit and guess what? It's a roundabout. It's always a roundabout because you're in Carmel. So the traffic flow is really nice on the highway most of the time. You know, during peak times, of course, you're going to have more cars on there. But just in general, it flows really well. Greenwood needs that in the worst way because on the two major highways running through Greenwood, oh boy, if you're going the distance on there, lots of stoplights throughout, and that can be very frustrating. So I told you our office used to be in Greenwood, and it used to be in South Greenwood. So we would pop off the interstate, coming down, get off on 465, head over to 135, and then it's boop, 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 stoplight, 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 stoplight. If you hit it wrong, it is very frustrating. It's the same thing on 31. So there's really no avoiding it in Greenwood. And my dearest hope and dream for Greenwood would be the caramelization of it. If you saw our tier list video for the suburbs, where we talked through every one of them and kind of ranked them, this was one of our major sticking points of Greenwood. Greenwood's a great place to live, but when you're driving downtown in Greenwood, it's so annoying to be on these these highways. And that's just part of living there when you're getting around the different commercial areas within Greenwood. Now you get on the edges of Greenwood, it's really no problem. And lots of Greenwood's very easy to navigate east and west. I'm just saying these stoplights gotta go. We gotta reimagine this traffic and make it flow better. Now, let's quickly look at
Pro number 4.
pro number 4 are the schools in Greenwood. There are a lot of different great schools in Greenwood. You actually have 3 different school districts. You have Clark Pleasant, you have Greenwood, and you have Center Grove, all of which are well regarded according to the rankings in their own right. They're kind of in different classes in terms of school size, in terms of where they fit in the larger scheme of Indianapolis academics. Center Grove is going to be competing against some of the bigger schools versus what like a Greenwood would. Greenwood's a bit of a smaller school than Center Grove, and so forth. So, but there's different options. So depending on what you're looking for academically, the public school system in Greenwood, according to the rankings, is very well regarded. And just anecdotally, you see a lot of really great athletes and art come through the Greenwood area. This is an Indiana channel, right? You know who came through Center Grove High School? Our guy, Trace Jackson Davis at IU. Absolute super stud athlete. And he's not the only one. Center Grove regularly produces national level athletes in football and basketball and other sports. So it's a great place, both academically and athletically. Greenwood is another great example of this, Greenwood High School, in that their marching band, and they're not in the biggest class of school in Indiana, they're in the second class, but their marching band has won the state finals like many times over. They are excellent players. They march out there in those yellow uniforms and they just look sharp as can be. But yeah, I digress. I was in marching band in high school and Greenwood was like our rival, but now I think they stomp all over my high school, so that's okay. But actually, sidebar, my high school played Greenwood in a bunch. Even though we weren't near Indianapolis, like we'd end up playing them in district or sectionals. And I remember them stomping us in football, and we had a very pitched tennis match as well. So lots of memories with Greenwood there. But really, the school systems do very well across Greenwood, so worth checking out. Not only the public schools, though, but there are private school options as well. Greenwood has a growing Catholic school, as well as Greenwood Christian Academy, which continues to grow. And there are other private options as well. So I've talked about the good parts of Greenwood, but let's finish up with
Con number 4.
So I've talked about how it can be difficult to move around in some parts of Greenwood and how it's a little more remote, especially if you're out in Center Grove, that can be a little remote. Different parts of Greenwood can take a little bit more to get out and about. That being said, the big entertainment of living in the area, you're not going to find that directly in Greenwood. There are plenty of things to do on a day-to-day basis in Greenwood. Like I said, there's every type of business you can imagine. So you want to go bowling or golfing or go to the gym or whatever. All of that's in Greenwood. You have everything there. It's a population of 70,000 or roughly 70,000. You have that in Greenwood. But if you're looking for the big time entertainment, going to like a professional sporting event, you're going to have to go downtown. So you're going to have to head up the interstate, go to downtown Indy. It's not a super long drive, but some of the other suburbs around Indianapolis have that next level of entertainment right in town. So you've seen the investment in Plainfield, in Hendricks Live. You have the arts and design district in Carmel, as well as all of the different cultural things that Carmel invests in. You have minor league sports teams directly in Fishers, directly in Noblesville. USA Gymnastics is going to be in Noblesville. You have Grand Park in Westfield. Greenwood doesn't have the exact same type of next level of entertainment, things to do. It's got everything you could want on a day-to-day basis, but if you're wanting that kind of next level, you're going to have to drive downtown. And that's not really a problem because the interstate system is pretty good around Greenwood, but it's just something to keep in mind that you're going to have a little bit more of a haul. Well, that's all we have for Greenwood, Indiana today, both the good and the bad. As you can see, it's a really great place to live, and if you're thinking about moving there, be sure to reach out with all the contact info below and leave us a comment. Where do you want us to go next? If you like this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around Indianapolis and Greenwood, this circle city that we love and call home. With that, I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty, and this is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll see you in the next one.